So over the past couple of months, I've been seeing a lot of those videos like start an AI agency in 24 hours or how I built an AI business in 10 hours. And you've probably seen them too. Now look, some of them are actually pretty fucking good, but I wanted to take it a step further and show the full journey. Not just picking a niche, finding leads and sending outreach, like anyone can do that, but actually going from zero all the way to signing a client. So that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to start an AI agency from scratch, live on camera, without using any existing relationships or warm leads. And I'm not stopping until I have my first client ready to pay me. By the end of this video, you're going to watch me figure out what to sell, find businesses that need it, reach out to them, send them free value, and finally close an actual client. So if you've been stuck wondering how people actually get from I want to start this to someone just paid me, this video is for you. So let's get into it. Now, I've set a couple of rules for this video. Again, I can't use any warm leads or any of my connections. I'm not even going to use the case studies that I have, and I'm actually going to start a business from scratch, new website, new domain, new everything, so you can see all of the steps involved. And I'm not saying this because I'm a beginner and I haven't done any of this before. I've got companies, I've got 20 plus case studies, but I just want to show you how easy it is now with AI to get up and running, to get outreach working, and to actually scale an offer to $20,000 to $40,000 a month. Exactly what I've been able to do for the last 2 years. So let's get into it. So what I have built on the document that you can see on the screen is how we're actually going to do it. So phase one is the offer, and the offer is the most important part for these kinds of businesses. Without a good offer, your AI agency is going to suck, you're going to blend in with everyone else, and you're not going to have specificity because you don't have the attention of the people that you're trying to sell to. So who should we sell to? I never thought you'd ask. Let me show you the matrix that I use when I'm thinking about industries or what kind of niches that I'm going to. The most important thing is to actually sell to business owners who have the pain point and who have the credit card in their back pocket ready to pay you. I have scaled up and I've tried to sell to bigger businesses, and like I'm actually negotiating a contract with a company in the UK now, and it has been 3 months because there's a CFO and there's all of this other stuff that happened. I was having wines with the general manager, there's a CFO, then you have to go to the owner and the shareholder, and there's just a lot of shit involved. Whereas my belief is the best people to sell to are the ones that experience the pain every day and actually have the credit card to be able to pay you or wire you or whatever it is. So you want to speak to the business owner. In terms of what they want, you want high dollar value of transactions. So again, if you go and help a cafe sell more coffees at a $5,000, they need to sell 1,000 cups of coffee for them to recuperate their $5,000 investment with you. $5 a coffee, 1,000 coffees. Whereas if you go sell it to a plumber or a roofer or an electrician, like one of their jobs might be $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. So it makes it a lot easier if you can help them pay. I can get you another 3 deals a month with the systems that we install. It is a much more compelling sell. And then for you, you just need to understand and have domain expertise. So what that means is just understand their business, and you can do that with AI. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump back into ChatGPT and we're going to say, okay, who do we want to sell to? And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to go to an industry that I've never really looked at and I've never really touched. Okay, for this, we're going to jump onto ChatGPT. I want to sell AI agency services to businesses where I can charge a minimum of 10K plus 2.5K a month to manage. Give me 10 industries. Cool. So it's got still that I'm in the UK. Okay, so commercial real estate firms, private medical clinics, law firms, construction companies, logistics and transport companies, mining industrial services, so I've already done those, property management companies, home services at scale. So now let's look at that. We've got, pest control, manufacturing and distribution businesses. Okay, cool. So from that, I am going to do one that I haven't done before, and that is going to be law firms. I've never done anything in law firms. So we've got law firms, and now we need to ask what services we should sell. Okay, so let's go, what services should we sell? Okay, so now we've got service 1, 24/7 AI intake assistant. This is the anchor, and then what we're gonna do, we're gonna start filling this out. So we're gonna go law firms. Okay, and then of these, okay, these are really, really good. And you can build all of these in GHL. So like that's 6 services, which is a lot. Okay, so that's actually really good. Okay, now what we want to do is, so the services to sell, what we're going to do is we're just going to take, okay, so like, you know, I've got experience in doing this, so missed call and lead recovery, 24/7 intake assistance. Yeah, let's go a 24 intake assistant. Okay. Is that all the pain points that perfect. So now we're going to take that. So, and this is one really key thing. So when we're talking about pain points for business owners, they have a lot of different ones. And you know, high level is save money, save time, right? Or again, make more money. And then, but what we can see here is like, you know, missed revenue pains, operational chaos pains, time and focus pain, client experience pain, growth and scaling pains, visibility and control pains, you know, knowing they are bleeding money and cannot prove it. Frustration at paying for leads that do not converse. So that is how many inbound calls go to voicemail after hours at your firm, what happens to urgent, like, yeah, sweet. So now we're just going to do desired outcomes. Oh, that's it. Look at now, these are the one-liners that ChatGPT is really good at. So we're going to take all this, and we need this for our copywriting. So there we go. So now we've got the desired outcomes. We're going through this. We've got the pain points. And this, again, like depending on what we go, this 24/7 intake, AI intake assistant, it may change. Okay, so now the next step is the USP. So the legal front door system, great. Case capture blueprint. Yeah, which one I want? Legal front door. So I'm just doing this because I'm going to be doing the outreach while I'm in Australia. So you can see like ChatGPT has put in a lot of details. I'm just reading the one on the left here. And it's, you know, it's a lot for 10K. In the speed to lead stuff that I have done with other businesses, I haven't included as much as this. All I did was set up an agent for that captures on their Facebook leads and it sends SMSs and books calls, and people are happy to pay 10K for that. So this is a lot. So that's what I said. I want far less deliverables. Yeah, so perfect. So now these are all the deliverables. So, you know, we've been doing this. I've got a brand new industry. And then, you know, we've got the pricing, 10K plus 2,500 a month. 10K plus 2,500 per month. So that is a 35K client on the first year. Okay, so now we've got this. And now what we need is coming up with the business name or logo on a website, okay? So now we're actually going to use the offer and use the actual business to come up with what it is that we're doing. Whereas most people will come up with a name and all that kind of shit, whereas I think the best way to do it is to go into the industry and the offer and then build the business around that, because it is so much more simple. So now what we're going to do, we want to build an agency name. So because it knows all the context of what it is that we're doing, we're now going to build the business around that. alwaysanswered.com.au. Okay, let's, I like Always Answered. So now we're just gonna go to Namecheap. I use Namecheap, you can use GoDaddy, you can use whatever. And then sign in. So let's go Always Answered. How do you spell answered? I think so. So alwaysanswered.com.au could work really well for an Australian business. Let's go with that. So I think check out. So we have bought the domain alwaysanswered.com.au. So what we're going to do is biz name always answered, and then always answered.com.au. Now what we are going to do is now go into something like Lovable. And what we're going to do is now so what we're going to do now is going to get the prompt. Perfect. So Lovable is a website builder / generator, and it can basically do everything. And you can see here, it's now going through and doing its thing. And what we're going to have when this is done is a full website done. So that and then we're going to see if it comes up with a logo. If it doesn't, we'll do a logo. So we can take that and see what it comes back with. So we have perfect, done the homepage for all our answers complete. Getting ready. Waiting. Oh. Let's see what it's come up with. This is really good copy. Oh, so I'm just reading through what this website is. That's really good. Publish. Okay, so that would be upgrade fee. You need to be on a pro plan. So I'm sure I can do that. So we're at like $20. There we go, 28.3, that is fine. What we're gonna do is just pause this. That has been purchased, and then so what we're gonna have this start a conversation. We're gonna go publish, add a custom domain, connect domain, always answered.com.au. get my name cheap. So just like that, we now have a website live, always answered, clean copy, and then I'm going to set up the back end. What does this do? I believe it's going to send me, hello@alwaysanswer.com. So it can send an email, and we're going to run that for when we do our outreach. So we've got the biz name, we've got the website. ChatGPT came up with the logo, copy image, that will do. So you can see I basically used AI to do everything for me, and it's unbelievable really. You know, even 2 years ago, this was not possible. So now we've got an offer in our mind. We're going to basically help them install an AI for law firms that answers all of their calls, sends them all the summaries, does all of that. Epic, we know what we're doing. We've got our deliverables, we've got our pain points, and now what we need to do is to actually start building the machine. So what I have is something called the 4D demand matrix. So there's warm outreach, reaching out to people that you know, cold outreach, reaching out to strangers, ads, and content. These are the 4 ways that we can control how we get customers. There's other ways that you can obviously do. You can do a whole bunch of other things, but generally you don't have the control on those, whereas these are the control. So what we're going to do, because lawyers are always on their email, we are definitely going to do cold email for that. And then when you're doing cold email, you have 2 choices, Instantly or Smart Lead. Both of them work, both of them really good. I'm going to use Smart Lead because I have a way to really scale it and do it quite quickly. And I reach out to a guy named Will that I've known, and he can get me 100 inboxes set up very quickly. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Smart Lead, smartlead.com, I believe. I'm just going to go Smart Lead. I haven't used this in 12 months. And what we're going to do, we're going to go Smart Lead. Here we go. And then we're going to log in. What we are going to do is, I had a new one, JZ, there we go, log in. And with Smart Lead or Instantly, what you're going to do is basically you need to get leads, and then you need to send leads, emails to leads. So with Smart Lead, what you need to do is basically you need to add the email accounts. And if you're trying to sell AI, you should be able to figure this out. I'm not going to go through and show you every single step, but basically to send emails, you'll need to either connect your Gmail, your Outlook, or your SMTP. And if you want to be an AI growth consultant, you got to figure this out. So from here, I'm just going to do Australian law firms. And then, you know, all of these now platforms, Instantly, Smart Lead, whatever, they have their own leads in there. I use something called A-Leads, A-Leads. There we go. And the reason I use A-Leads is because it's super cheap and super quick. So you're gonna log in. There we go, sign in. Oh, wow. Okay, so, and you're gonna pick how many leads you want. So 5,000 credits a month. Boost gives you 12,000 and 199,000. So I am going to just hit upgrade. Now we have got basically the leads. Skip this video, confirm. Okay, and then what we're gonna do here, lead finder. So we're gonna go Australia. I'm gonna move this out of the way. And then we're just gonna go CEO. Hmm. 24,300. Employees. 9,100. So what we've got here is job titles. These are just all the CEO job titles. So there's 12,000 here. I don't think that's this one here. But basically what you can see is, I don't know why there's New Zealand. These are all the legal leads, and up to 50. And like I said, so now I'm just looking at like buying intent. So you can basically see if they're like looking at AI here. Revenue, you can again get an estimate, job posting, stuff like that. So what we're going to do I'm not too sure why they are in New Zealand. Lead finder. Anyway, that is, so sometimes you get some negotiation, commercial. Okay, so that's why it is, so I'm looking at why that is on the leads. So what we've got, we'll just go back into our lead finder. $1.3 million CEOs, industry. Law practice, 16,700. Yeah, great. That is okay, so that is a save search. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go bulk export, 5,000, enrich leads with emails. So now what we're doing is we're just exporting the first 5,000. So that's 5,000 leads. And that will be basically our starting point. Okay, so now what we've got is we're building the machine, right? So we've done Smart Lead, we've got our list, and now we've got our email to send from. What we need to do now is the actual copywriting and creating the campaign. So we are going to go into sequences. And what we need to do now is we're going to use ChatGPT. And go back to the chat that we just had. And so now it's like what I, so now we're going to have, this is what we're, so, these are what we're using as the prompt was create theory variations. I want to, so basically we're trying to give them free value. So now we've got 3 variations of what we can write. So basically the thing what everyone gets wrong in cold emails is they pitch the door down. But what you can see on the screen here is I'm trying to create curiosity in the hook and kind of poke around to see what problems that they have. And now I'm looking at the variations. I like these, these ones are like just uncomfortable questions. So like this one I really like. One thing we keep noticing when we look at law firms is this. They invest in marketing, they get inquiries, and some of the most valuable calls never get answers. Not because staff are bad, but because people get busy. We built a simple front door system so serious calls never disappear into voicemail. Happy to share what this looks like if it's relevant. Yeah, and this one, receptionists are not the problem. Yeah, so like these, I really like these belief ones. And we could add some like numbers or add some figures into them as to what it is that we can really help them with. So. So I'm going to do it on the, I didn't really like the second round. I didn't really like these. Okay, so we have these emails and now what we need to do is we need to actually copy them over into a Google Doc and then start writing some copy out. And we're going to have a couple of variations and we're just basically going to roll through with the emails to start getting the leads because the lead list has come through. So we also have that. So we're going to create a new document and then we're going to go back into ChatGPT and then we are going to basically take these 3 and just copy them. And put them into our Google Doc. And now we're just going to review them. So we're looking at the copy and making sure that the copy actually makes sense. So hey, first name, quick question. Okay, so yeah, cool. So like this one I really like. It's just like, a uncomfortable question. And there's an email style called poke the bear. And that's one of the things that we use a lot is just we want to poke the bear and poke the question and make them aware that we know their problem. So the next one, and like again, I'm a big fan of just white space in the email. So happy to share what this looks like if it's relevant. Question marks. Jack, how we do it. Oh yeah, so this is, what it looks like from there. And we now have 3 different email copies. So what the next step is going into the campaign. And then all that we're going to do is we are just going to copy this into this campaign. And we can see like the white space didn't copy over. So, a little bit of editing in here. Okay, so worth a short comment is a okay. All right, so we're gonna cool, and then we're just gonna go back into the doc. Quick question about missed calls. So that is one. And then we're just going to hit add variant and then we're going to go into our second email. And what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to find copy that resonates. I've never sold to this industry. One of my ex-girlfriends was studying law and my sister's a lawyer. So I know a little bit about it, but I don't really know too much about the law profession. So I don't know if these are going to hit, but we're taking the problem that we came up with in our research and the front door system, and that's what we are building. So there we go. And then we want to go to our last variation and then we just hit add variant, go there. That's the subject line. Okay, so that's something really important that I just saw. Sometimes the AI gets it wrong. And you can see here, and then I'm going to put insert variable, and you can see that is the actual first name variable that we need. So what I need to do there, and this is how you make sure you don't mess up your emails. Cool, sweet. There we go. So we can just have like a one campaign. You can get as complex and as long as you want with these. So then we can do a email, and we're gonna go wait after 2 days. Oh. So again, the key for these emails is to make them not feel like you're a Nigerian print scammer offering $1 billion. You're making sure that you actually speak to the problem that you're addressing and that the AI can solve. So that is what we're gonna do here. We're gonna hit save and next. And then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna import the leads, and I'm going to go back into A-leads, and what we have is 5,000. We should have 5,000 leads that we can load up into here. There we go, sign in again. Oz law firms, there we go. And then we're gonna go my files, 5,000 leads, and we are going to do, so yeah, you can see these are all a bunch of other exports I've done in time from A-leads when I had it. So we're gonna export that. And then we go Oz law firm CEOs, then we go back into here, and then we are going to go Oz law firm CEOs, 13.5 megabytes. Import leads if they're in the global block list, no. Import leads even if they're on a subscribe list, no. There we go. Don't import them, save. Okay. That is why. We want to have company. There we go. And web, I mean, we're not using their website, but we can. So we just want to go first name, last name, company, email. Save it next. Okay, personal email. Okay, I'm just gonna have to take a look at this file. So what you can do is actually clean up the data before you upload it, which is what I'm going to do. So we have, bring this, I need to minimize this. And then I need to drag this on there. So this is our lead list. Okay, so work email, which is why the personal email was showing no emails. So all of this data we don't actually need in the upload, and it does make it take a long time. I'm just gonna go rip through these columns. Okay, so now you can kind of see 25 years in education, tourism, consulting principal at Keyport Loyal, accomplished professional, co-founder, like these are the right people. As an entrepreneurial CEO, like yeah, these are the right people, and that's what we want to make sure. So yeah, we don't need all of these. Delete selected columns. So we're just trying to tidy up this data for when we import it back into nice. Is that 28 million? Yeah, so these are, they're not accurate revenue numbers, but they somehow pull them. Okay, first name, last name, job title, work email. I mean, we don't need the summary. Now we're going to export that to a CSV. being a cunt. There we go. So now it's 447 kilowatts, which is a lot smaller. Save, first name, company name, save and next. Yeah, so we got 5,000 leads. And then I need to go up to the $94 a month, which is fine. So we can just run with the $12.50. So that is our campaign. Continue. There we go. Save it next. And then we just choose our sender accounts. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go through and basically just go through the account, the schedule campaign, and the campaign settings. So, you know, if we go schedule campaign, you'll pick a time zone. I'm going to do Australia, Perth. You know, you can pick your days that you send, the times that you send, when you want to start the campaign, and how many leads per day. And this is depending on how you have it set up. And, you know, previously back in the video, I mentioned what domains you're going to be using. If you've got the ability and the budget to scale up, obviously the more volume, the better. So the general rule of thumb is we want to be sending at least 1,000 emails a day so we can actually get some volume. And this is where everyone goes wrong with cold email. They'll send 50 or 100 emails and they get 1 or 2 replies and then they give up. Whereas you need to be hitting 1,000 emails a day at an absolute minimum. I'd be scaling this campaign out to, you know, 2,000, 3,000 emails a day, because then if we have a 1% reply rate, which is on the low end, we should be looking at 5. 5 times 3,000 is 150 replies a day. And now we're actually going to get the volume. If you know 150 replies, 50% of them are like interested, and then 50% of those come into and actually booking calls. So from 3,000 leads, we are now having 150 replies. Then we're having 75 people that book calls. And then, you know, if your close rate is 20%, 20% of 75 is 15. So now you've got 15 new clients. Whereas if you don't have the volume, you're not going to have the numbers, and then your campaigns are just not going to work. So that is basically what we do. And then so when you're hitting campaign settings, then you just want to set up your settings. You've got your stop sending messages when your lead does one of these things, and then you can have, you know, the email variant, bin tags, optimize deliverability. And that's what I do. I just do plain text because we want to try to skip the spam readers as much as possible. So with new email domains and you start sending a lot of images and stuff like that, you can do that once the domain has got a bit of authority and you've actually got some emails sent and some replies. You can track your link clicks and your email opens. And then there's all of these settings, and these settings are constantly changing in Smart Lead and in any of the platforms. So once you understand the things that we went through earlier in the video, that's how you can like really crush it. Whereas, you know, these tech settings and clicking the buttons, they're always changing, just like the Facebook Business Manager, just like High Level, just like all the softwares that you need to run an AI growth consulting business, they're always changing. And then what you're going to do is basically just read through all of these. So you can do intelligent, categorized by AI, and then you can just basically click all of these things. And what these are is basically getting different categorizations, and it's 90% accurate. And then once you've got that, you've got those things. We don't want to have unsubscribes. Again, a little bit risky when you go into lawyers, but it's okay because we're not sending huge campaigns. And then basically we've got that. We're going to start that on the 5th and then choose a time zone. We're going to go Perth. Save. Okay, so now what we're going to run through is free value, and this is what we do in our sales process. So I'm going to go back and forward between free value and the sales process. So when we're talking about the sales process, the free value comes in between when you're generating attention using the 4D demand matrix. We are obviously in this example using cold email to reach to our clients. So before the appointment booked, we're going to be generating attention, right? And then so what the thing that most people kind of miss out on, just skip because they're spastic, is they just go straight into pitching. And that is not what you do. That is the key miss. Like that's what happens here. Like they're basically, let me tell you about my services. Here's what I can do for you. Let's hop on a call. No one wants to hop on a fucking call until they know you can help them. So show them something valuable. And an AIGC principle is show, don't tell. And people always ask me, I don't have any experience, I don't have any case studies. Yeah, no one does. It's AI, right? Well, like I do, I've got plenty. But if you don't, this is how you do it. You show them and demonstrate them the outcome that they want by giving free value. So that is just such a key thing to remember in this process. So why does this actually work? It proves your experience so they can actually see what you can do. But the demo process that I've used so many times they just go fucking wow. You can actually do what you're saying you're doing. And it creates reciprocity, and that's something that I'm going to talk about, but it's basically from Robert Cialdini's book, Laws of Influence, 6 Laws of Influence or something like that, or Influence. And he basically talks LSCAR, so there's liking, social proof, commitment and consistency, authority, reciprocity, and status is, I think, the 6 laws of influence, I believe. So what we're doing is we're creating reciprocity, which is creating influence. It makes them want more, like, again, this is why free trials work. This is why so many things work. Free trials, $1 trials, stuff like that. They work, you use it and you actually want more. And so we're trying to evoke that emotion and it removes the sales pressure, right? Like if you're offering them something, then you'll see how we do this properly, it becomes the next logical step. So again, the concept, create immediate value before asking for anything. You're demonstrating your expertise, not claiming it. And you're solving a problem. And that's, again, one of the key principles of AIGC is solve a fucking problem. So many people create these automations that just useless, solve a problem. So now let's kind of like zoom out and talk about like what to actually offer. So you do, like I'm kind of doing this, like I'm a Loom breakdown, I'm sharing my screen, I'm talking through this, and I'm actually creating free value from doing this. I'm breaking down on my screen, right? Next thing you can do is create a custom resource. So you can look at their website, you can look at their sales process, you can look at their appointment booking, you can look at something in their business depending on the offer that you want to go after and just audit that and just send that over to them. Again, a lead magnet, so you can create a lead magnet, checklist, framework, something like that. You can spin that up in Claude super quickly. Again, you can do a quick build and I'm going to kind of show you a few things you can do, or you can do, data-driven insights about their current situation. If you know enough or you've got insights on that, that's probably a bit more of a more advanced way to do it. If you've worked with 100 businesses, 82% of our clients don't have a email follow-up sequence after someone books a call to send proof case studies, right? And then you can show what a bad one looks like, what a good one looks like, and see where they're at in between. So now, when we're talking about the bridge message, and we've sent the messages that I've run through, and these are some examples of what you can send. You can say, hey, quick wins on lead capture. Notice your LinkedIn posting schedule if they're all over the place. You could just do a Loom on their LinkedIn and go, oh, hey, I noticed your LinkedIn post schedule, put a content automation blueprint for you. Cool if I send it over. And then, ran through your current funnel, through my framework, found through automation opportunities, what the breakdown. So something like that. So in terms of what the conversation flow looks like, initial DM opener, we've sent that. They reply, show interest. You have the bridge message. They say yes. You send you the Loom resources immediately. They watch, review, and get value. And then the next natural step is, best question you can ask the sales is, do you want help with that? If they say yes, then that is how you do it. Cool. Now, this all sounds really good. How the fuck do I do it? Great question, never thought you'd ask. So here's exactly how you do it. You can use ChatGPT or Claude. And if you're looking at the top here, I actually built this on Claude. So I'm, again, showing you what I'm doing and teaching you what I'm doing, and very meta of actually doing the thing that I teach, right? And so I created this in Claude through a bunch of prompts, and I went through and made some changes, and you can actually see me chatting this through and building it. So, how are you gonna do that? I want you to create a blueprint of free value for more show with legal front door, cool. So I'm just spinning this, throwing this prompt off the dome, and I'm just going to see what this comes out with. So if we go back into this, it is a lead magnet, a quick build, something like that. And I can't show you for every industry of what's possible, but I'm going to say that you're not retarded, and you can take, okay, cool, build me an artifact in Claude, in Gamma, in ChatGPT, in whatever tool that you actually use, and we can see what it actually comes up with. and I realized I'm doing this on Claude and I built the original one on ChatGPT, but that does not matter. So that's kind of how we do it. So then what you do is you do a walkthrough on this. You can see it's doing all that it needs to do on the screen, and it's just balling out and going a bit crazy, which is epic. And then we have our bridge, right? So again, the core principle of this is Robert Cialdini's law of reciprocity, and they're psychologically obligated to do that, and it's human nature. So now let's talk about kind of positioning. You're not like some nerd that's like trying to sell them AI. You're someone that's built something that actually helps them. And that's a key distinction. And that's why my clients get the results that they do, is they position themselves better than the competition. And we position as people that can solve problems and get paid for the problems that we solve. So, here's a kind of a really quick example. Can I get 15 minutes of your time? Or I built something for you. Do you want to have a look at it? Or do you want it? Or whatever it is. Let's see how this is looking. Okay, perfect. This was just a prompt off the dome, and I could just run this through and send this to lawyers, and this is absolutely banging. So that's how easy it is. Like, this is actually turned into basically a landing page. Like, I could take this copy and put that onto the landing page and literally send it to lawyers, and I'm sure that would book a bunch of calls, right? So that is how that actually works, right? Now we're coming back into like our actual sales process and how we do it, right? And we've got Belfort in there because he loves money and so do I. So when the generating attention and you've gone through the process that I run through here, and then, now you're actually on to booking the appointment, what you want to have is like that appointment booked, and then if like in between when the appointment's booked and they have their intro call, you want that pre-built education system. So that's building case studies. And when you book a call to work with us, you'll see the case studies, you'll see the results, you'll see some different things of AI, because we built all of that. So you come onto the call and oh shit, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. He's made a bunch of money himself. His clients have made a bunch of money, and you see all of that. So again, use that into your process. When you're booking calls and you're trying to start something, is have a system to educate and nurture your prospects before they get on the call with you, so they are not cold as fuck. Now, you have your intro call, and then what we generally do is send a statement of work. So you talk about their problems on the call. What's your lead gen? What's your nurture? What's your sales? What's your retention? What's your delivery? What's your retention? And how can we put AI into that? What is the biggest bottleneck? Then you take the summary of that, you upload that to Claude or ChatGPT and say, write me a statement of work. On ChatGPT, I actually have a statement of work generator, which I will show you here. And it's basically got a prompt that I can just, there we go. It has a prompt, and you just put start, and then you put your transcript of a call with the client, and it will create a statement of work for me. Obviously not going to put that in there because it's all confidential, but that is how quickly you can do it. And that's the thing, it's speed of how fast you can get this stuff done when you do it right. Then you send them a statement of work, make sure they're signed off on it, based on it, and then you have a follow-up call. Then you receive the payment and get to work. And that's what I have done to make the money I have selling AI, and that's what my clients do, and the system and the process that they follow to get the same results. So that is how you do that. And the emails are going to be coming in back off Smartly or instantly, whatever you're using, and you're going to book people in and take them through this process. So that's exactly how you do this. We'll jump to the next part. So that is basically everything you need to get your first client. And honestly, that is the hardest part. Because once you have one, the snowball effect starts to take over. You stop wondering if this actually works, and you stop second guessing yourself. Instead, you now have proof and a case study, and you build the most important momentum that will compound in the long run. The second client will come faster, the third even faster, and suddenly people are coming to you instead of you running for them. But all of that starts with the first one. And now I've showed you how to get clients. I didn't really show you what you actually install once they say yes. So what I'm talking about here is the growth systems, the automations, and the stuff that gets them the results and makes them want to keep paying you. Because that's the difference between someone charging $500 for a one-off project and someone charging 5, 10, or even 15K to install the systems that run month after month after month. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll leave a link in the description to my free training where I show you just that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you there.